Quinn Pendlay.
I'm Donnie Schenkel.
We want to demo an exercise that we use here at California Strength to strengthen the spinal erectors. And most people, when they use a 45-degree machine like this or a glute ham machine like that, they use it in such a way that the back is held in a straight line. It only undergoes isometric contraction, but your hips, your hamstrings are what actually supplies the movement. So I want you to demo doing that in that way, the way that most people do it. And as you can see here, he's not getting a lot of movement in his spine, but his hips and his hips and his knee joint are moving in order to actually supply the movement. This is a great exercise, and we do these. But there's another way to do these if you have equipment that's designed in the right way. On a lot of machines, you can't do it on this 45-degree machine because you don't have any pad here. All you have is a straight pad. We've had this built so that we can do it and do this other exercise also. And so I'm going to have Donnie go ahead and raise that up a couple of notches. Good? Okay. And there you go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do another exercise, and I like to differentiate between back extension and back raise. On a back raise is like what Donnie just did. You're raising your back, but there's no actual extension of the back. The spine stays in a constant position. On this, a back extension, we're going to attempt to keep our hips locked in one position with as little or no movement as we can have in the hip joint, but we're going to be actually flexing and extending the spine. So go ahead and get on there. Now he's going to attempt to keep his hips locked here and not move at all, but his back is going to flex down and then extend back up. Flex down and extend back up. And this, as I'm sure Donnie can confirm, is a hell of a lower back exercise. Because your lower back, the vast majority of things that you do in the gym, your spinal erectors are never asked to work in a concentric, eccentric fashion. They work isometric only. I think you can probably imagine that if you attempted to get your legs, for instance, as strong as they could possibly be, but only work them isometrically, sure, they're going to get stronger, but are they going to get as strong as they could get if you actually do eccentric, concentric motions? No way they are. So if you want to develop your lower back and your spinal erectors, it's very important you do some exercise where you actually have an extension and a contraction of the spine. Now I realize that very few people have a 45-degree machine that's built like this with the necessary pad, so we're going to show you how to go ahead and do these on a glute ham machine. They can, so it's a little more difficult, but they can be done on a glute ham machine. I'm going to have Donnie first off do a couple of glute ham extensions the normal way, and so you can see how you and probably everybody else normally does them. Then we're going to change up the machine a little and do an actual back extension. This is what most people do on a glute ham machine. As you can see, the movement is supplied at the hip joint and the knee joint. He's extending in both of those joints, but his lower back is not really changing position very much. Now I'm going to have Donnie go ahead and get off, change the machine. Normally when you do this, you're going to have to move the foot pad back a little bit, and you're going to try to put your stomach and your belly button directly on top of the pad instead of your upper thigh on the pad like you would for a normal glute ham. You see he's dropping his knees. He's putting his belly button right on the machine. Now he's just going to bend and extend the back. Flex, extend the back. And you can see he's getting a little bit of movement in his hip joint, but very, very little. Now, once this is easy, this is a very easy weight to add weight to. It's a very easy exercise to add weight to. So we're just going to, so we're just going to pick this bar up and hand it to Donnie, and then he's going to flex and extend with, this is 40 kilos. There you go. All right, John. Since you can do this on a glute ham machine, everybody should have the equipment to be able to do this movement, even if it's not the ideal equipment, I think. Remember when you're doing these, this is a back extension. The back, the spine actually flexes and extends. So no matter what piece of equipment you're doing them on, if you're doing them on a 45-degree bench like this, it's a 45-degree back extension. If you're doing them on a glute ham, like Donnie just demonstrated, it's a glute ham back extension. A back raise is where the actual movement occurs at the hip and or knee joint. A back extension is where the actual concentric, eccentric contraction occurs with the spinal erectors. I think these are something that everybody should add into their training. Very few people do enough lower back work in an actual eccentric, concentric manner. There's just very few exercises that allow you to do that. And I can say 100% that every single lifter that I have put on this exercise has added noticeable mass to their spinal erectors within a week or two. You can actually see it and actually feel it. It's very dramatic. So try to work these things in if you want a stronger back.